care something.
What do you mean?
There seems to be another movement to make the internet free again. I want you to kill it.
I'll take care of it.
So what a great way to kick off the year. Comcast charging everyone more money for no reason. At least Ajit Pai is out of office, so that's cool. Anyway, let's get into it. As a publicly traded company in the US, Comcast has the right, and some would even argue the duty, to create as much profit as possible for the company and its shareholders, regardless whether this is in the best interest of the consumers. The US runs what it calls a free market, and at its core, this simply means I want something and you have it. An economy of need and want, supply and demand. You introduce a fiat currency, in this case the USD, and sprinkle a little bit of regulation to keep up the whole supply and demand thing, and bada bing bada boom, corrupt America. Don't get me wrong, I love cutthroat capitalism just as much as the next guy, but at a certain point we as a society need to step back and take a hard look at the way things work in the world. I'm a proponent of don't be shitty and the world will be a better place. Companies specifically could implement this and instantly change the world for the better. There's many instances of companies being shitty, so for our first example, we'll use Staccato airbags recall. They supposedly knew about the issue in 2004, but it wasn't brought to light until 2013. This caused at least 25 deaths and 300 injuries. These aren't outstanding numbers, but nonetheless the recall affects more than 50 million vehicles and turn an object designed to save lives into something that could kill you, which makes a company like Staccato make a tough decision. Do they recall 50 million units and face the consequences to their brand and business? Or do they shrug off the 1% of an item that in most cars will never go off? It's an understandably tough decision, which is why 9 times out of 10, companies would rather hide the scandal for years and face the consequences when they finally catch up to them. Then there are instances like Volkswagen's Emission scandal. This wasn't a scandal that was necessarily life-threatening, but it was purely deliberate and evil in its nature. From 2009 to 2015, Volkswagen developed and employed a software designed to trick emission tests for 11 million diesel cars. This made it so when cars were tested, they would switch to an expected emissions output, but when driving would output 40 times more NOx than allowed by emission regulation. NOx is a harmful greenhouse gas pollutant and harms the ozone layer as well as contributes to acid rain and visibly brown clouds or smog. This causes respiratory problems such as asthma. Here's a map of all the diesel emissions from Volkswagen in the US. And looks like where I grew up was pretty fucking blue. Volkswagen built a system to cheat and presumed they would never get caught. You know why I know they thought they could never get caught? Because apparently all these diesel manufacturers were doing the same thing. Since 2016, 38 out of 40 diesel cars tested by the ADAC failed NOx tests. 95% of diesel cars on the roads were cheating. So why would they decide to do that? We as a society have decided to put profits over people time and time again. Comcast and Time Warner have been rated the most hated companies in America. Over time, with acquisitions and mergers, they form a monopoly on a highly demanded or even essential service, and then price gouge and ignore customer complaints because in most cases, there's no direct competition. Like I was saying about the whole supply and demand thing, there's a problem when a company controls all the supply. We live in a country controlled by mega conglomerates that merge and divide until there's only a few companies left standing, kind of like Agar.io. You join a game and it's possible to gain any traction because the second you do, you've been consumed by an even bigger massive blob. This is because all companies are at their core people. People aren't inherently bad, but bad people are inherently shitty. You ever meet the person in school who for no goddamn reason is an asshole? You find out their home life is fine, they get everything they could ever ask for, but they're still just a dick? Those are the people running a lot of these companies. Harvey Weinstein. Money leads to power, and power leads to corruption. At least that's what we're led to believe. There are people like Elon Musk, who is one of the wealthiest people on the planet. He founded a renewable rocket company and pioneered the world's largest electric car manufacturer to help forge a world where you and I can wake up excited for the cool shit we as a society can accomplish. He, like everybody, is by no means perfect, but he does embody a vision of a future where companies and people can do more, not because it benefits them, but shapes a better future for everyone. If companies were collectively looking at a more sustainable future, the world would be better for it. The actions and decisions would benefit everyone collectively rather than just their shareholders or cohorts. This brings me to what we can do to change. First, there could be hope in the like of Bcorps. Unlike C-Corps, a traditional corporation where their obligations are to their shareholders first, Bcorps or benefit corps are required to consider the impact of their decisions not only on their shareholders, but also to their employees, customers, the community, and even the local and global environment. This is different than a nonprofit because these companies are for-profit and don't have to be designed for the sole purpose of benefiting the public. Two popular B Corps that you may be familiar with are Etsy and Kickstarter. To me, the main benefit of a B Corp is transparency. Unlike Apple, who say they want to reduce e-waste while also limiting consumers' rights to repair and causing more e-waste in the process. A B Corp is held accountable by independent and third-party standards, and there's specific nonprofits like B Lab designed solely to audit B Corp's effectiveness. This sort of accountability could help companies do what's right in the eyes of the law, the people, and even the world. That being said, there's only a few large B Corps that you've ever heard of or used, so for now they're really a non-starter. There is a way for a traditional C Corp to become a B Corp, so maybe one day we'll see how many skeletons Jeff Bezos has in his closet. As far as today goes, the best thing you can do is vote with your wallet. Just like the best way to change government is by throwing a massive wait, when was this written? November 20th, 2020? Oh, fuck. Dude, I was joking. I didn't actually think people would try it. What I really mean is voting. Voting with your wallet is kind of like the same thing you're supposed to do when voting in an election. Researching the candidate, understanding the pros and cons of their ideals and platform, and making an educated decision on who you want representing you. At least that's what you're supposed to do. You can do the same thing for companies and give your hard-earned money to Volkswagen, who was formed by Nazis and lied about their emission scandals for years, but they do make cars that go vroom vroom fast. So, balancing that decision on whether you want to support them or not is up to you and how you want to spend your money. Be critical of the companies you support, whether that's monetarily with your viewership or even how much attention you bring them by complaining. Sometimes you have no choice when to use a company, but hopefully the enforcement of antitrust laws will start to happen again, and we won't be stuck with companies like Facebook, Comcast, and AT&T buying every company in sight. So if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, that'd be awesome. We're making more content like this soon. Leave a comment telling us what you want to see next. If you want to check out our weekly stock trading challenge, there's a video there. Subscribe there. I'll see you guys soon.